Hey, I'm Dr. Toby. Welcome to the Rehab Mobile channel. Thank you for coming to check out this video. If you're new to our channel, I want to let you know that in this video, we're going to be teaching you the proper way that you should be stretching your shoulder. If you've been wondering, how should I stretch my shoulder to prepare myself and avoid injury when I'm about to exercise? I'm going to show you some things you're going to want to know. And so stay tuned. If you're new to our channel, hit the subscribe button because we make videos on how you can stay healthy, pain-free, fit, and mobile. And we upload on a regular basis. So a lot of people want to live their best, feel their best, and even look their best. And this is going to be a great channel to help you to do that. Let's get right into today's video. All right, so really simple. If you're someone who's been trying to figure out what's the proper way I should be stretching, should I even be stretching before I do exercises? Well, I'm going to give you some answers to those questions today. And the simple answer to your question is, it depends. So stretching is really great, but there are other types of activities you can do with your shoulder to help you prepare for activity. And it really depends on what type of activity that you're doing. So if you're a gymnast versus a bodybuilder and a weightlifter, you would be doing two different types of activities. Yes, gymnasts may be doing some flexibility routines, but also they probably should be doing some stability type of routines as well. And depending on what kind of activities you are doing, you should be stretching. So stretching is going to be really helpful for you. If you're somebody who is an athlete who is playing basketball or certain sports and things like that. And it also can be very helpful if you are also a weightlifter or average gym goer, but making sure that you're stretching the proper way for the type of exercise you're doing is very important too. So most people will do static stretches like this, and this can be very helpful. So I'm going to show you a couple stretches and why and when you should apply these type of stretches. So let's talk about the deltoids. You use your deltoids for certain activities like lifting up forward or to the side or extension back. Those are some of the secondary functions of the deltoid muscles. Ultimately, they work together to help with abduction. And so part of when you're doing a stretch to your deltoid, the good part about it is that the place where your deltoids are around, right there is also where your rotator cuff muscles also connect as well. So you're going to be getting a stretch to these posterior chain of your shoulder as well. This is a really good stretch to do to not only stretch out those muscles, but to give a little bit of relief to the joint as well, especially if you have a lot of tension in this posterior aspect of your shoulder joint. So when is this going to be helpful? Stretching like this can be really helpful after you've done an intense workout, and this is going to help to decrease some of the soreness that you might feel a day or so after. And so giving a nice stretch and hold. Now, the times in which you would do a stretch like this prior to your activity is if you've already had tight or really stiff shoulders and you need to loosen them up. And so if you're going to be doing stuff like rows, so for example, let's use these. If you're going to be doing things like rows, right? If you've stretched prior to doing that, that wouldn't be as bad. But if you're going to be doing exercises like these, right? Stretching beforehand or overstretching is something you want to be careful of. So because that kind of exercise has way more tension or force that's being applied, you want to make sure that you haven't overstretched those muscles, because that's going to cause them to be possibly strained if you overdo it, depending on how many reps you're doing and how heavy the weight is. So, but it's still a really good stretch. You just have to know when to apply it. So yes, stretching is great and stretching is good, but you have to make sure you know when to apply and how long to do certain stretches depending on where you're at in your exercise routine. All right, let's show you a simple stretch that you can do for your triceps. Triceps can be a tough place to stretch, but you're probably also going to get some of your teres major and also possibly some of your lats as well. So basic tricep stretch right here. Some people don't feel much when they do that and they have to lean over, and I'm sure they're getting some other muscles stretched as well. But this is a pretty good stretch for the triceps. Now, the concept still remains. Prior to doing exercise, you want to stretch and you don't want to overstretch depending on what kind of stuff you're doing. So we're talking like holds for 15 to 20 seconds versus typically if I'm going to be stretching maybe after a workout and I want to really kind of release those muscles, I want to be doing longer duration, so 30 seconds, things like that. So you can kind of play it based on what feels comfortable for you. And not everybody's able to do every type of stretch. So if you have an injury, then this wouldn't really apply to you because there may be some things that you don't want to stretch depending on what the injury is. So these are just general things, not prescriptive at all, just educational for your knowledge. Another good exercise is a bicep stretch. So lots of ways you can do this. You can put your hand on a wall, you grab a wall just like this, and you're gonna turn. So you're not only getting the bicep, but you're gonna be getting that pec as well, that chest, anterior chest. You're gonna be stretching that out right there. So we're just like that, and we're turning, okay? You can also do this on the floor, sometimes depending on how comfortable you can get. And I'm here, I'm kind of rotating my body up, just like that. I'll show you from this side. I'm here, and rotating my body up. Kind of going down and trying to rotate up to really get some of that bicep. All right, so those are a couple stretches that can be really good to kind of help loosen up the shoulder. This is going to be good again if you have stiff shoulders, if you have tightness, and helping to increase the mobility of the shoulder at a very basic level. So I would definitely incorporate stretches at different parts of my routine, depending on what I'm trying to do. If you know you're gonna be lifting weights, you don't wanna overstretch in terms of stretching it for a longer duration hold. You do wanna incorporate some stretching prior and also some mobility routines to kind of help the joint itself become stretched. Because what we're talking about when stretching can be two different things. We can talk about stretching the joint itself or stretching the actual muscle. If you're trying to stretch a muscle, you have to do a longer duration hold, which is going to be like 20 to 30 seconds. If you want to stretch the joint itself, you know, you're focusing on 10 to 15 seconds, things of that nature. So depends on where the issue is for you. If you have tightness in the muscles, if you have soreness, achiness, the longer duration muscle stretches are going to be helpful. If we're just trying to stretch out the joint, doing more mobility stretches are going to be helpful. So doing shorter duration holds and a couple of repetitions. And so if you found this video helpful, let us know what in the comments what was most helpful for you about the video. You can also like it and support us in that way and share this video with somebody who needs support of the knowledge that we're sharing. So again, thank you for subscribing, and I'll see you in the next video.